Hi everybody, my name is Dan Cap. Welcome back to my channel. We're back for Decap Recap, Season 13, Episode 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race. So the episode starts and it's the Pork Chop Queens, the 6 girls coming into the workroom. You know, they're so relieved to be here. They thought they were going home, so they're just, happy to still be on the show and, see the workroom again. They have the same mini challenge from last week that the other girls did. So it's Lady and the Vamp, so they're doing 2 runway looks. So it's one daytime look and one nighttime look. And as they're all getting ready, it's kind of revealed that Kahmora Hall is notorious for being the girl that takes, hours and hours and hours to do her makeup. And she's talking about how she loves to just luxuriate in the experience and really, blend out her whole face to perfection. And RuPaul's Drag Race is not the place for that, obviously. For this specifically, they only have 1 hour to do their makeup. So I think this is a really interesting concept that really hasn't been shown on RuPaul's Drag Race. I think that it's shown on Project Runway a lot and maybe some other competition shows. On Project Runway, there's always that designer who, at least on one episode, is like, still sewing when Tim Gunn comes to bring them all to the runway. So I feel like this is interesting. I could kind of relate to that. I am a perfectionist. When I was in high school in my sewing class, I was always the one that was handing in projects late, but they were like meticulous, they were hemmed to perfection. So I kind of see where she's coming from, but obviously it doesn't really translate. I don't think I would go on Project Runway because of that. So they make it seem like obviously there was some lateness due to her taking so long. They all have their day and their night looks. So we'll go down the girls with their day and night. So Denali was out first. Her day look, her lady look, I wasn't a humongous fan of. I thought the colors were nice, the blue and the yellow, but it just didn't do a lot for her shape. But I really, really loved her vamp night look. Just the gray with the black hair, and it just looked smoky. And she said it's inspired by a Moschino runway where all the models were at a ball, and then it caught on fire, so they were all coming out of kind of the ruins of the fire. I just thought she looked amazing. So next out was Joey J. Once again, her day look I just was not a fan of. I think it just kind of looked pedestrian, and even I just wasn't a fan in general, even if it was just a regular outfit. I just wasn't a huge fan. I did like her night look more. It was more leathery. Her body looked really good. And I think her hair kind of translated better to the night look. She's not wearing a wig because that's Joey J's thing. But I think in the night look, it just kind of translated better. It was more rocker. Next, we have Kahmora. I don't think she was necessarily in this order. I think they kind of moved her to the back to make it look like she was late. But her day look, to me, was just nice. She was just a woman at tea. Her makeup didn't look specifically amazing. I think she just looked like she had on a regular beat, just kind of simple makeup. But it was nice. It was doable, manageable, whatever. Her night look, I also just wasn't a fan of. I thought the wig was just really small. She did, at least both these wigs were not the same as her first episode wig or even her runway wig later. So it is kind of showing versatility. The short red wig was kind of unexpected, but I wasn't a huge fan of either look. Rose, I was a fan of both of her looks. So her first look was very pop art, it was hand painted fabric, and she had her bag that was the R, and on the back of the dress it said Oze, and then she put the R and it's Rose. I just thought she looked really great, and it just was artistic and funky and just really cool. And then her night look was probably one of my favorite looks from this runway, I would say, from this day and night. It was just, she had that hat, and then the skirt, I don't know, just everything. I think she just looked so good. It was so fashionable, so editorial. I just think she looked amazing. Then there's Tamisha Iman. So her day look, I think, was good. It was probably one of my more favorite day looks, besides like I think Rosé's was number one for both runways, but I did like Tamisha Iman's day look. It was just very like beautiful woman. It just kind of showed that she was just this regal, you know, mature woman. She just looked great. It was beautiful color, especially on her skin. It just looked great. Oh, Tamisha's night look I think was cool because it was inspired by Elvira, who was kind of a Drag Race staple, and you know RuPaul loves Elvira, so it was cool that she kind of interpreted her own version of Elvira and had the hair on her outfit, because you know she's from Atlanta, there's a lot of hair shows there, so I just thought it was a really cool interpretation for her to do that. And then Utica's day look was very, you know, colorful, very her personality. It had the bubbles. I think it was cute. It just really showed her, you know, artsy, fun, bubbly personality. Bubbly for pun intended. And then Utica's night look, I thought was nice. It was cool. It wasn't, you know, my favorite, but I think it was good. After the runway, they're told their maxi challenge is going to be writing verses for the RuPaul song Phenomenon. So it's similar to last week, you know, they're just writing their own verses, and it's in alphabetical order. I connected the dots this episode because obviously if you watch my last video, I was figuring that out within the video that they were in alphabetical order. So, you know, it's Denali, then Joey, then Kahmora, Rosé, Tamisha, Utica. So they all have to write their verses, and then they show them choreographing it, which in this episode, everybody wanted to choreograph it, unlike last episode. So, you know, it's like Rosé, Joey, and Denali are really just trying to choreograph the whole thing. And it was just hard to keep up, especially for people like Kahmora, who like are not dancers. So she's like, okay, we following her. Tamisha Iman is like, double take 3 times, 1, 2, 3, like, it was just a lot for them to keep up with, but I think they did kind of figure it out. But yeah, it was just too many cooks in the kitchen. And then in the workroom, there's a lot of good just discussion on this episode. Tamisha Iman obviously talks about being a more mature queen. She said she's 49 and she has biological kids that are older than all the other queens. And I think the other queens are, I want to say like 32 and younger. There's a lot of talk about her, and she had this legendary daughter who unfortunately passed away, but she had this iconic lip sync video that they showed throughout the episode. And then they talk about Kahmora feeling like she doesn't really have a support system back home. Like, apparently her boyfriend is just not really interested in her doing drag, so she feels like she really has to hide that from her boyfriend, which I feel like is a narrative they discuss a lot on the show, just kind of how hard it is to date and like people not wanting to date drag queens and stuff like that. So I think that's really unfortunate, you know, something that you love and are so passionate about shouldn't really be looked down on by your loved ones. You know, obviously they talk a lot on the show about family and your parents, but you know, I think you should be able to date, you should be able to find friends that support you, you know, your chosen family. I really am sympathetic of that because that's just like not a good feeling, especially since she, you know, is really just passionate and loves drag, and for her boyfriend to not really support that, it's just like really unfortunate. So then they go out to the runway for the presentation, the performance of Phenomenon. I think that this was like really great. Almost all the girls have really great verses, and the song, like, unlike kind of Congratulations, all of their verses just go together, and I think it's just the beat of the song kind of lent itself to that. You know, it was really good. So Denali was first. I would say Denali like did the best in the performance. Performing and her verse were just awesome. It kind of reminded me of Sweetie's song Icy, because obviously Denali is an ice skater, so she's really making a lot of references to, you know, being icy, spicy, you know, for you I'm too pricey, and you know, Sweetie's like, cause I'm icy, wifey, haters wanna fight me, and then it's just like, an obvious rhyme, I guess. So I don't think she was necessarily inspired by Sweetie, but it reminded me of that. And then, you know, Joey J is a gay ass bitch, so he says it in his verse. And I mean, I think we could all relate to that. So I think he did a pretty good job. And then going into Kahmora, I'm sorry, I like really love her, but that verse was just not good. Like, I'm sorry, it just was so slow. Like, there was probably 10 words in her entire verse. The rest of the girls had, you know, full sentences. She had one full sentence in her entire verse. And, you know, she really was struggling with the choreography, which is, you know, dancing is just not everyone's thing. But I feel like somebody could have helped her make that verse more serviceable. Like, I'm really sorry, and I don't mean to be mean, but it just, like, was not that good. And, I mean, it is, to me now, like, iconic. Like, me and my roommate are always like, from the house of Hall, Chicago's Mackie Doll. Like, it's cute. But just watching it, and like even just watching it in the whole performance is kind of like, this is awkward. Because then it's like right after her, it's like, you know, Rose, who can sing, dance, perform. So, you know, Rose really slayed it. I'm sorry, when she said pretty, witty vocals down and did a dip, I'm sorry. And then the high note at the end, like, come on, look at the material. So then after Rose, it's Tamisha, which I think her verse is really good. You know, it just really just about her rising, you know, beating, not specifically about her beating cancer, but just her persevering and being a more experienced queen who's been in the game, you know, and she's ready to show you what she can do. I do think her like choreography is just kind of like she's marking it. And even that's kind of how she was in the Janet Jackson performance from the first episode. It just seems like she's kind of going through the motions, and she's like, we'll fight again, or whatever. And I don't know, it just seemed like a little, like she's not going full out. And then Utica just had like the funnest verse, like when she said, ain't got no bones in my body, gonna wiggle to the top, wiggle to the top. I die. Like, that was so funny and like so good. And that's another thing me and my roommate just all the time, like, gonna wiggle to the top, wiggle to the top. But overall, the performance was good. And then let's get into the runways. So the runway category was We're Here, We're Sheer, Get Used to It. So up first was Denali. I thought she looked pretty. She had another really long braid, which I really like those braids. It reminds me of the Beyonce Formation tour, where if you've ever seen the video, she like swings the braid around and it just kind of like makes its way around her body, like it has a life of its own. And I also really love the color like lavender violet that it looked like she was wearing. So I thought it was pretty. It just looked like she was a flower. I thought it was nice. Joey J, or she, is wearing her regular hair, like not wearing a wig, and she's just wearing that headband. And I think it just didn't go with her look. I thought her look was nice, but then she just threw this like black, you know, headband on, just kind of like tied around her head. I feel like it just didn't look as kind of like sophisticated and like formal as her dress did. And then she had this spiky hair. So I don't know, maybe if she had, you know, if she really didn't want to wear a wig, maybe if she had done more of a just like woman's like sleek comb over or something like that. And she said she doesn't really always feel like herself in a wig. So I think that's one way, if she just kind of was able to style her hair differently. But I don't know, maybe her haircut is just not conducive to doing that, but just maybe something more, whether it was sleeked back or sleeked to the side, I think it would have just been something different. Kahmora Hall, I think, looked gorgeous. She had this giant earrings on, and I really loved her like sheer dress. The one thing is, you can see in one of the close-ups, I don't know if it's the dress or something she's wearing under the dress, but there's like a front zipper, which kind of like throws it off when you see it up close. But other than that, I thought she looked really like beautiful. Then Rose, I thought it was cool, you know, the plastic, it was kind of something different. It's just like, you know, transparency as opposed to like being sheer. but I thought it was cool and fun, and it kind of looked like, you know, unconventional materials, just kind of making something unconventional fashion. So I thought it was just like cool. I don't know, that's all I have to say. Tamisha Iman had this really pretty dress. I think that it's a very pretty, beautiful dress, and I think she looked really great. But I think like the judges like loved the dress, like thought it was the most gorgeous thing they'd ever seen. So I don't know if maybe in person it was a lot more striking, but to me it just looked like a beautiful dress. So I don't know, it could just be kind of different strokes, but you know, they really loved it, so I'm happy for her that they loved it. Utica, I thought looked pretty. I feel like it was kind of something different. You know, she didn't look as kooky, but you know, she's had like the sleek ponytail, and I thought her outfit was nice. It did the job. They give everyone their critiques. I would say, I guess Kahmora got like the worst, I guess, performance critiques, and Tamisha kind of got some critiques, but they did like both of their looks. So it was kind of like a toss-up, but in the end, surprise, no one's going home, and they just have the top two lip-syncing for their legacy. I don't think they called it that, but that was kind of what it was. So it was Rose and Denali doing If You See Gamey by Britney Spears. I thought it was really fun, and Denali kind of showed in both of the performances, both like the Phenomenon and the If You See Gamey performance, that I don't know if she's like a known Vogue dancer or if she's just like picked up a lot of moves, but she's, you know, like duck walking. I guess that was kind of the main thing, but she is like doing like the, you know, voguing moves. Clearly I don't know how to vogue, but I think it's really like doing well for her, and I think she like looks great doing it and adds to her performances. So I think it was a lot of fun. You know, it was a lot of fun. So Denali wins the lip sync, which I think it probably kind of could have gone either way, but I'll like agree with Denali winning. And then it kind of, I don't know if it shows it at the end, but it is previewed that the next episode, you know, all the girls are coming together in the workroom, and obviously like they'll be shocked to see that Elliott's still there. So overall, I do think it was a great episode. Episode 2 and 3 were just really great, especially because if you've watched my other video, I wasn't a huge fan of episode 1's format, but I mean, these queens are like amazing. So I actually decided to do what I think the elimination order is going to be if I had to make my own kind of draft. So keep in mind, this might be posted after episode 4, after the first person goes home. So, I mean, if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, just know that I did this before watching that episode. So I feel like when I sat down to do this, it was difficult. Like, these are like really good girls, and I just kind of had to think about, I didn't want to compare people to other queens, but I did kind of have to think like what made sense to me. So a lot of these could be like interchangeable. Like, I don't necessarily believe that this will be the elimination order, because there's just so many variables, whether there's a lot of beauty makeup challenges, whether there's a lot of comedy challenges, if there's a lot of singing performance challenges. So it really is a toss-up. And like, there's girls here that I have like going home like halfway through or like a little early that I think are like amazing girls. I do think they're all amazing girls, but there's girls that like, it's just gonna be like if they're really off that one episode or like something like that, like, or if their looks can save them. It's just so difficult. So my elimination order is, the first elimination I think will be Kahmora Hall. I just think, like, looking at the entire episode, just like judging her episodes 2 and 3, I do think that she is just kind of more of just a look queen. So we'll see, maybe she is just really good at comedy and she's able to kind of bring her personality out. So if she is, she might go further, but that's who I have for first out. Second out, I have Joey. Third out is Tamisha, which that's another thing. Even just going back to Joey, you know, Joey seems really funny. So, and the next challenge is a comedy challenge. and we'll see. If there's a lot of comedy challenges, maybe Joey will go all the way. You know, if he really brought a lot of great looks, he could be going far. I don't know. Next I had Tamisha. Another, like, if there's a lot of like dance challenges and she's really able to like perform, or just really, you know, make a joke of herself, kind of like be funny, you know, and there's a lot of comedy challenges, she could go far. So that's fourth out. I have Utica. That's another situation where we see kind of kooky queens like her going all the way, but you know, you just never know. It depends what the challenges are. Next out I have Tina, like, and Tina's like a really strong queen. Like, she could, I'm just gonna say, everyone could go all the way. Like, I really don't know. You know, Tina says she's a really great singer. I don't think they really have shown her singing. She's obviously very funny. She's had some great looks, like her Tin Man look. Her entrance look, I think, was cool. So, you know, she could be going all the way. Next I have Gottmik. Like, and Gottmik, you know, is obviously amazing. Like, her fashion, her makeup. So it's just whether Gottmik can kind of perform comedy or do, you know, more like performancing. You know, he struggled a little on the congratulations number, but maybe she is like, does really great in the next performance they have, the next musical they have. Next I had Elliott. I think if it was just judging off of episode 1, I might have had Elliott going out a little earlier, but I think she really just came back episode 2 and like showed the girls what they can do. She, you know, her performing is really great. She seems funny. I think she'll be able to kind of make fun of herself and like be loose in a comedy challenge. So that's where I put her. Number 6, I have Lala Ri. I think her personality is just so great and she's a great performer. So I think comedy, looks, performing, I think she's just gonna do really great and just go home, you know, like kind of close to the finale. And then 5th, right before the top 4, I put Kandy. I just think she is so funny, and I kind of see her kind of getting like the kick in the ass, and you know, now just kind of thriving, you know, doing well in the comedy challenges. She has great looks, so if she can really just bring it to the runway, she's it. Like, I think she's just gonna really make it far with her personality, her comedy, her looks. She can sing, she can rap, so you know, when those come up, I think she'll do great. So then I didn't rank my top 4, but my top 4, I put Symone, Denali, Rose, and Olivia, which obviously those were the tops of both those episodes. But I really just think, looking at their performances and just seeing them on social media and just knowing what they can do, I just see those 4 really just making it to the top. If I had to kind of peg my winner, I would choose Symone. I think she's just doing amazing. She's funny, she's fashion, she looks great, she can perform, she has the attitude. I really just see her like rising to the top and doing amazing. Obviously I would love if Olivia Lux won. That's my hometown girl, at least I'm gonna refer to her as that. I would love if she won, you know, I'd be so excited for her. But I mean, Denali really is killing it, you know, with her performances on Instagram. She obviously did really great in the last challenge. And, you know, Rose is an amazing singer and performer. You know, I thought Jan was going to go really far, and it didn't go that way. And obviously they're 2 different queens, but I think they have a lot of the same strengths. But I think kind of Jan's fatal flaw was that she was like a try-hard. Like, she really just wanted it so badly, and to just like throw everything at the wall and like do it all. And I don't think Rose really is like that. So I see her really just making it really far. And I feel like she has a great sense of humor. She can perform. She has some great looks. So everyone just let me know. I would love if everyone in the comments just put your elimination order, and we'll kind of see where it goes. I mean, you might be posting yours after the first person already went home. But, you know, let me know at least your top 4. Like, who do you think is going all the way? Who do you think is the winner? I would love to hear your comments for episode 4 coming up real soon. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, do it all. Thank you. Catch you later.